They had what most people would call a perfect marriage. 9 years together, 4 years married. No constant fighting, no distance, no obvious cracks. And then one word got into his head: not cheating, not betrayal. One word: settled. By his account, their relationship worked. They went on date nights, they were affectionate, they laughed together, they shared routines, jokes, intimacy. There was ease between them. That matters because this isn't a story about a marriage that was quietly falling apart. It's about a story about how something can sound like the truth and slowly start undoing everything. Then something happened that seems small on paper, but carries emotional weight. His wife learned that her ex boyfriend had overdosed and passed away. They weren't in contact. She sent a brief message of condolences to his family. That was it. But death has a way of reopening doors people thought were closed. It doesn't just bring grief, it brings memory, comparison, and sometimes unguarded language. One evening, he told her she could have friends over. He was working late. Heavy rain changed that. Roads were flooded. Work sent people home early. He returned quietly, went to the bedroom without announcing himself. The house was loud. And that's when he heard a conversation he was never meant to hear. Her ex came up in conversation. She told her friends a story from years earlier, about 4 years into their relationship. She said her ex had called her back then. He lived in a trailer. He offered her a fantasy: travel, freedom, seeing the world. She said she had considered leaving, that she almost did. And then she used a word that landed hard. She said she settled for the stability her husband gave her. One of her friends asked if she ever regretted that choice. She said she used to, but not recently. He didn't confront her. He left the house and went to a cafe to think. But what happened wasn't thinking, it was spiraling. Because settled doesn't sound like chosen, it sounds like safe, convenient, second place. He returned home. She greeted him the way she always did, with a hug and a kiss. He couldn't receive it. He said it was stress from the job. He skipped dinner, skipped their usual time together. That night, he couldn't sleep. He sat on the balcony, replaying one sentence over and over again, asking himself questions that felt unbearable. Was I ever enough? Did she love me? Or did she just choose me when the fantasy fell apart? This is what language does inside intimacy. A single word can carry a verdict, And when you hear it without context, your mind fills in the silence with the worst possible meaning. Eventually, he did the thing most people avoid because it feels dangerous. He brought it into the open. He asked the questions that sound simple but are not. Are you happy with me? Do you love me? Have you always loved me? Then he told her what he heard: the X, the offer, the word settled, the regret. She said she didn't mean settled as dating down. She meant choosing the better life, the better partner, the real relationship over the fantasy. She said the bag packed part had been exaggerated, said during a rough patch when emotions were high. The ex flirted. He criticized her husband. He offered escape. She admitted something very human. For about a month, she wondered, what if? Then it faded as real life proved itself. He asked directly about cheating. She said no, and he believed her. They cried. They sat together. What got repaired wasn't just a misunderstanding. It was the belief that truth could be spoken without losing the relationship. This case isn't about an ex. It's about the fear of being chosen for safety instead of desire. When someone says stable, one person hears safety. Another person hears you weren't my first choice. Add overhearing without context, and a sentence becomes a sentence: life imprisonment for self-worth. Repair worked here because they translated language into intent. They didn't argue facts, they clarified meaning. This wasn't a betrayal. It was a word overheard, unexamined, that almost rewrote a marriage. This has been Relationship Records, a case about stability and the fear of what stability might mean.